You're listening to the MycoGeeky podcast.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the MycoGeeky podcast, the podcast that goes deep so you can level up your at-home mushroom cultivation game. I'm your host, MycoGeeky, and Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get into it again. Got a special guest tonight. Man, so I'm just going to be real honest with everybody. Him and I talked about him coming on a while back, and, you know, things get crazy. Other ideas pop in my head. And then one day I'm on Instagram and I forget what I posted now, but he kind of called me out on it, like, oh, I guess I'm not coming on anymore. I forget what it was. And I was like, oh man, I feel so bad. I didn't forget about you, but I definitely haven't been in communication with you. So anyway, I was like, all right, let's make it happen as soon as possible. So this guy he makes his home on Instagram, and he knows what he's doing. He's got fire genetics. More importantly, for me, I really respect anybody that's doing crosses and taking it to that next level, especially when they do it successfully, which he is. And he's rocking with some of my favorite people. So, you know, of course, I'm probably going to like him. So anyway, I'm talking about, for those of you who already know, on Instagram, I'm talking about the Khaotic Shaman, Khaotic Shamanism. Before we get rocking with him, I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody on my Discord. I love my mods. I love my people. I've been pruning pretty hard lately, trying to keep this Discord at a manageable size. Y'all just keep trying to sneak in. I had to cap it for a while. We'll see. I got to decide how. I really don't like big Discords, and it just seems like no matter what I do, it's getting bigger. So I got to decide how to handle that. We'll see. Stay tuned. Also want to shout out my Patreon supporters. You guys are paying my gear off, paying all my little bills, you know, associated with running the podcast and keeping this train moving. I really appreciate it. Quick, if you guys like what I'm doing and you want to support for a month, for 2 months, for as long as I'm doing this, whatever, go to patreon.com/MycoGeeky, and whatever you want to do, I'm not going to complain. That easy. All right. Without further ado, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about fruit. We're going to talk about cultivating. We're going to talk about all of it with the one and only Khaotic Shamanism. What's up, man?
Yo, what's going on, Geeky?
Hey, man. Thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thank you for bringing me on, man.
Man, like I said, you know, when we first talked about having you on, man, I'm a man of my word. I got ADHD, though. So, you know, like... I got in trouble today from my wife. She was like, you were supposed to pick up our oldest daughter from school today. And I totally forgot. I'm sorry about that. I got chewed out for that. I'm trying, guys, and I'm doing my best.
Man, I can tell. I can only imagine how busy you be, man.
It gets a little dicey sometimes. Yeah. I mean, if I didn't have ADHD and I remembered everything all right, it would still be a lot. So I try to write down a lot of notes. I set alarms all the time, but every once in a while I just forget and stuff happens. What are you going to do? So anyway, thank you for being on. First off, when I asked for a logo and you sent me over this logo, I'm like, okay, that needs to be a t-shirt. If that is not a t-shirt, I will rock that t-shirt.
I think that will be a dope t-shirt too.
Yes, make that happen. I will buy it. So why don't we do what we always do? Let's talk about that Myco origin story. Like, when earliest mushroom memory, and then also when did you get into this community and why did you get into this community?
All right, so I started about a year and maybe like 4 months ago. What happened was I decided to take my first trip, and I had got some mushrooms from this guy that I met on Facebook. And when I got it, it was like, I didn't know how much I should take. So I took about like 1.5 for my first time. And then it just like, it didn't really do nothing for me at all.
So were they basic cubes? Or
I think it was AA plus.
it was. Okay. Okay.
Um,
Wow. All right.
yeah, so I waited about 2 days, and then so I was like, all right, I'll just take like 2.5. I just upped it another gram, and still nothing. Like it just wasn't hitting for me at all. I'm like, man, what's going on? Like, did this guy send me some shiitake mushrooms or something
Right.
like that?
Oh my
So I was
God.
like, okay. I met somebody else. She ended up sending me some penis envy. So when I got it though, it was like all just crumbly and broken up and just like almost to dust. So I was just turned off by that. I was like, man, I'm not even gonna take that.
Right.
And
Right.
then so at the time, my wife knew somebody that sold grow kits or whatever. She was just like, man, let's just go ahead and just try to grow our own. I'm like, nah, we ain't gonna be able to do that. Like that's gonna be too hard. But then I
Oh.
was like, man, you know what? Forget it. Let's go ahead, call them and see what's going on. So we ordered it. Then that night I wound up just getting off Instagram. I mean, what was it? YouTube.
Hmm.
And just typed in how to grow mushrooms or whatever. Came across 90-second mycology.
Oh yeah.
Just
Shout out
watching
to
his
90.
videos.
Yep.
And then just was watching his videos, just getting ready. So when it come, I could just dive in and get straight to it. So, but then I came across PGT and all the guys, Mycotrophic, and I was just paying
Oh yeah.
attention to their videos until it came, and then I did my first grow was actually the grow kit, and I used some dirty spores, some go-to teachers. And it actually was successful. Like my first grow was successful. Um, I ended up taking like probably like 3.5 of those golden teachers. It was like the most awesome and horrible experience of my life. Like ever. Like I promise you.
Yeah.
Like I was just going through the
It's a
ride,
new
just going through the
experience
motion.
for sure. Yeah. If it finally hit at 3.5, yeah.
Yeah,
I
man,
bet.
it blew my socks off. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I hit a little bud before, and then it was just like, I don't know. All I remember is I was on the floor, I'm crying. Then next thing you know, like I'm listening to some music, and then I could just see the music, like
Oh
the
yeah.
vibrations of the music. It was like mushrooms, though, and it just I can just see it, just like I could taste it. It was just so intense. I'm like, wow, man, I don't know. So I wound up getting up, going into the bathroom. And then I looked in the mirror. Don't know why I did that. Then,
Whoops. Rookie mistake. That's okay.
so as I'm looking in the mirror, I see like it was like some images in my shower curtain. First, it was like a gorilla, and then I seen like it was like some lion looking thing, and then it turned into like this shaman dude. And it was just like it's like you could just relax, like you don't have nothing to worry about, like you protected. I was just thinking about like what's going on, like why, like what does that mean? But anyways, I was just looking in the mirror, and then the mushrooms just started talking to me. It was like, man, it's like we need your help. I'm like, what you mean? Like we need your help to be here to help more people. Like more people need to get this medicine. So it's like ever since then, man, I just listened, and then I've just been growing ever since.
So I've talked to a lot of people about a lot of trips, and they're wise. It's wise medicine. It's always
Mm.
telling you something you need to hear. Now, sometimes you don't want to hear it. Sometimes you're resistant to it. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had a direct call to action like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've had more like it's usually just more like this is the right thing, this is okay, everything's good, or just like a real deep interconnectedness. I do it, mine are usually out with the trees and the rivers and the
Mm-hmm.
streams and all that stuff. So it's usually pretty connected to that. Set and setting definitely play a role. But hey, man, how did you would have never guessed that shaman was hiding in your shower curtain?
Nah, not at all,
You
man.
just
It was
never.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's kind of cool. What I haven't heard is anybody with their first real trip getting the message of like, this is, you've been called.
Yeah.
This is your time
And
now.
I was just so excited, like being that it was my first time and it came out successful.
Yep.
Like I was just like, okay, maybe I can do this. Like y'all asking me to do this, like we gonna get the people the medicine for sure. Cause
Exactly.
and ever since then I've just been all gas, no brakes.
That's great, man. So you and I got into it pretty similar time. You maybe just a touch after me. And I talked to a lot of, I was just talking to a newbie today, and he was, just like, man, I'm not having success. It's not going well. I'm like, just give it a year and you'll get there. Like, just as long as you pay attention and learn from your mistakes, you will definitely get there.
Yeah, man.
And,
See, I like I want to say my first 3 to 4 grows was successful. Like the first one was the grow kit. Then the next ones was just Uncle Ben's tech.
Yeah, it works.
It came out cool. And then, after a while, I was just getting katam like left and right. So I just found out a better way.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of did the same thing. I attributed it to, as you get into it more, you start acquiring more genetics, more swabs, more plates, more everything. And then you're growing more. That the place you're growing in is getting a little more action, and sooner or later it's going to find its way in there, and you're going to have to, get your tech's going to have to get stronger, your sterile technique, the way you're making it all happen is going to have to just get a lot tighter. So yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that. That was also my experience in the beginning. I'm like, I'm killing this, I'm gifted. And then I just got hit with contam after contam, and I'm like, okay, that's what I get for thinking I'm so good at this. It's just beginner's luck. Yeah.
I was in a shroomery group on Facebook, and they I'm like, man, Uncle Ben's tech, like that's the jam right there, man. Like, look at my grows, man. Like I'm killing it with Uncle Ben's tech. They actually wound up kicking me out of that group.
I was gonna say that'll get you kicked out, man. That's all it takes.
They blocked me. They like, man, you could do PF Tech and all these other techs. I'm like, man, this is the way right here.
Man, all I know is why spend a bunch of money in the beginning? Just, however you can make it happen in the beginning. If you got a few bucks, you can give Uncle Ben's a shot, and old Uncle Ben might take care of you. Why not?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but man, the first time I saw those fruit and watched them grow, I'm like, this is really cool. I love watching mushrooms grow. I don't ever get sick of it.
Nah, man. Like I've been addicted ever since, man. I became obsessed with it.
I hear you. All right, so you rocked Uncle Ben's. You did an all-in-one grow kit, and then how did you evolve from that point? Did you start doing tubs?
I started buying like sterilized grain from other people, substrate. I went that route. And then after a while, I'm like, the money adding up. Like, I can't keep doing this. Let me just go ahead and get a pressure cooker.
Right.
And it's like one of the best investments I made, of course.
Say it again. Say it again.
Sure.
I can't get the newbies. They think I'm asking them to cut their arms off. I'm like, just spend $150 on the pressure cooker, man.
Exactly, man. It's game changer.
Yeah.
And then, so like I was killing it. And then after I start getting the katam in those bags, like I said, I start getting substrate and stuff from other people. Got my pressure cooker. And then I just start like messing with the sterile air box. Like it was just from jump, like I was just doing open air transfers at first.
Hey, yeah.
And I was just getting lucky, I guess. I don't know. But after a while, I was like, nah, this ain't working no more. Let me do the SAB. And for some reason, I just couldn't get that. I just couldn't do it. Like, for me, it just wasn't working ever. So I came across a Willie Myco video, the broke boy flow hood, the box stand.
Yep.
And that worked for me for a good while, like a good 4 months at least, without no contamination.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody, look, buy a box fan, buy a couple filters, It is better than a still air box. It really is. Man, them holes get annoying. I mean, when I hear these people say they've been rocking a still air box for 10 years, I'm like,
I don't see how they
I
can
don't
do
know
it.
what is going on in your head that allows you to do that, because it drives me crazy.
Nah, ain't no way.
Yeah. So you rocked the Broke Boy fan filter unit for a while, but now I've seen pictures of your lab. Eventually, you got your hands on the real deal.
Yeah. So after a while, I had start getting contamination again, and like it was to the point to where it just was very discouraging. Like I just wanted to quit. Like I wanted to just say, forget this, man. Like because everything was getting contaminated. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It was working good. I changed the filters, everything. It just still was not working no more. So, yeah, I was just on my way to just say, forget it. Then I was like, maybe I'll just build a flow hood. I'll just price in like the parts and all of that. And one day my wife, she was on OfferUp or Facebook Market, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And she met this guy that was like, he's doing mycology for like 20 years or something. And he was just ready to give up. So we just ended up buying the flow hood from him.
Wow. Man, your wife is coming in clutch
She
in all
came in
these
clutch,
moments,
man, because
man.
I was really ready to just give up. I
That's
swear.
great.
And I was
Yeah,
like, she sent me something else before. And it was like, I was like, no way. Like, that's not what we're looking for right there.
right. That's funny.
But yeah, she found him, man. He turned out to be a cool dude. He hooked me up with a bunch of stuff, man. So
That's great. And so now for everybody watching who doesn't have a flow hood, is it worth it?
oh yeah.
I mean, right?
It's definitely a game changer, man.
It is.
It's
I
definitely
tell
a game changer.
everybody, get that pressure cooker, and then as soon as you can save your pennies, as soon as you can get your hands on an actual flow hood, just do it. Figure out how to do it. If you want to stay growing mushrooms, you will not. I never heard a single person. I know guys that paid $1,500, $1,800 for a Mac 10, and I never once heard them complain about it once they got it and they started using it. They're just, it's great. I got mine for cheap. I got mine for under $300 shipped to my door. So
Okay.
I got lucky as hell right before everything really popped off. I had to like, it runs off a 250 circuit.
Okay.
So not everybody can do that, but yeah, I would easily pay $1,000 at this point. You know, whenever this one goes bad, oh yeah, I mean, just
Yeah,
get
I
it. You
already got
gotta
a
have it.
backup stash. Once this one start going bad, I'm gonna be ready.
Oh yeah, yep,
It's like I haven't gotten no contamination since I had it, so
yep.
it's like anytime like I get some bacteria or something if I do a clone or something like that.
Right.
But that's about it.
Yeah, and that's to be expected. So,
Yeah.
you know, no harm, no foul.
But I'm still a little OCD when it comes to like aseptic technique.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Good.
still wipe everything down with alcohol and
Yeah.
bleach. Like 2 times a week, I use like bleach and water to wipe it down first.
Oh yeah.
Then I use like Lysol on the flow hood and alcohol, everything else down.
Yeah, man. Dude, I use this product called Inside, IN-CIDE. You can get it at Home Depot. You know, it's like a Lysol or something like that, but it comes in a big 1-gallon container. It's $10. It lasts a really long time.
Okay.
And so yeah, every time I work there, I'm spraying that whole everything down, wiping it down, letting it dry. Then I'm ISOing everything, just like you said, right? Like kind of overdoing it a little bit, but you know what? All the work you put in, it's worth just the extra couple minutes to just keep everything clean.
Right.
I completely agree. For sure. So, all right. So you got the flow hood now. So do you grow in bags or in tubs?
I grow mostly tubs.
Okay.
Like I tried a few bag grows and they just didn't work out. I probably had like one successful grow.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like my bags just kept stalling out.
Okay.
Until recently, somebody just told me like you can't just use bucket tech and then fill the bags up with the substrate or whatever. So I was like, oh, okay. yeah, so I just sterilized my bags this last run and got a successful grow. Got a
All
full
right.
bag.
You know the secret now. I tell you what, I had success with just pasteurizing sub and bags.
Okay.
But boy, as soon as I started sterilizing my substrate, so now I have one day where all I do is prep all my sub for a good little while. Usually do 2 to 4 bucket techs and just bag them up, cook them all day. Because I got 2 pressure cookers, so I work in usually 2 sets of 4 if I'm doing a big run.
Okay.
And then that stuff can just sit on the shelf.
Yeah.
Fold it up. I'll use a bunch of it that day usually or the next day, but if I don't, then it's just there and I got it just sitting on a shelf ready to go when jars start getting ready. And yeah, man, I love it. I don't care. Anybody that says, oh, it's inert, there's nothing in it, baloney.
Nah, I'm a believer now because I thought it was the same. Like, instead of working tubs, why wouldn't it work in the bags like that? I don't know, but just a little weird.
I'm with you. I don't even need to know why.
Right, it works.
We can
so
figure it out, but it works.
Cause tell you the truth, like I get tired of cleaning tubs out. Like,
I'm with you.
It's annoying after a while.
Yep. When people talk about, I want to use liners in my tubs, so I don't get side pins. I'm like, the only reason you use a liner is so you don't have to clean it. That's the only reason, man. Like, don't even worry about because I don't know about you, but if you don't use a liner in your tub and you pack it really well, I pack it real hard.
Yeah.
So my first flush, I usually don't get any side pins. If I do, it's very minimal.
Yeah.
But then after that first harvest, by then that cake has shrunk down, maybe, I don't know, like a 1/4 inch or something like that. So by the time I get a second flush, if I do get some side pins, I don't care. I let them grow. They're fine. They don't get all weird and messed up, right? And looking real sad and pathetic, but
I'm usually a one and done anyway, so it don't really matter.
I'm also usually one and done.
Yeah,
I don't run
unless I'm working on a project and I'm pheno hunting.
Oh, right.
Then I'll go for a second flush.
Exactly. Yeah. So what size tubs do you typically grow in?
58 quarts.
All right.
I use the 32. And like for my projects, whatever, I'll do like a 20 quart or 20 quart.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I forget who I was recently talking to about this. I think there is something magical about the 56 to 66 quart size. I think there's a lot of atmosphere in those tubs, right? There's a lot of airspace. And for some reason, I can't remember who I was talking to. But yeah, I've seen some pictures of your tubs. We'll see them a little bit later here. I think there is something special about those. Now the problem though is you're gonna get a lot of fruit. It's a lot of fruit, man. So for me, I can't. Especially now, it was getting out of control. So I grow in a lot of shoe boxes, a lot of bags, because that's like a small manageable yield.
Right.
That works out good for me. And like you, now I'm kind of getting more into just the projects and wanting to see what I can come up with and crossing and monos and all that good stuff.
Right.
So speaking of that,
I took a little tip out of Dave's handbook. Instead of just running those big old tubs because they take longer, just got to go with the smaller ones and just get them in and out.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's take a look at some fruit. Okay. And then once we see some, then we can talk a little bit about crossing and all that kind of stuff and some of the tub techs or whatever. But here, let me pull up. You want to do Gorilla Wizard?
Yeah, we can go with that one.
All right, let me pull off the overlay. Here we go. All right, what we got?
Okay, so this is the first. Well, it's the second flush of the Gorilla Wizard cross. I took Gandalf and Makilla Gorilla. The first flush was like just a bunch of small little like fruit, just regular looking fruit. Then the second flush came in and got these bigger fruits and this albino here.
All right, same tub, different view.
So this was the first flush. That's how they look.
Okay.
From the first flush. first flush right here. And then they just turned into some. So this right here is the Makilla that I used to cross it with.
Okay.
And that's the Gandalf I used.
All right. I think when I loaded these pictures up, it loaded them up backwards.
Okay. Yeah, so this was that first albino that popped up.
Nice.
And this was the first the first flush. After I cloned it and I ran it from spores and I ran a clone. And this was actually the spore tub actually.
All right. So how do you tend to work on this? Are you, when you find something you like when you're pheno hunting, you clone it, grow it, swab it, grow from swab, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Exactly.
That seems to be the way to go.
Yeah.
All right.
So
like
when it kind of like that one was from the double swab or whatever.
Yep. Okay.
I pretty much just swab everything. When I have fruits, harvesting fruits, I just swab them. Like,
why not?
Why not? I've been going swab crazy around here.
Well, it works. You know, anybody that says you got a serial dilute hasn't seen some of the work that's being done from double swabbing things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it obviously is doing something. It obviously works, right?
It's doing something for sure.
Just it's usually not rocket science to figure out if it works. Sometimes maybe it's a little tricky, depends upon what you're double swabbing, but yeah,
right.
Usually you do. All right, let's do. All right, what do we got here?
Okay, so this is a Gandalf. So when I mentioned my first successful bag run, this actually came from that run. It was a 280 gram Gandalf I got the genetics originally from PGT.
Nice.
And I did the bag run with that.
There we go.
Actually,
bigger than anything I grew, man. I'm not quite in that category yet. So that's a very impressive fruit.
Yeah. So that Gandalf that did the cross with, this was from this fruit. I cloned this one and grew it out and used one of those fruits for the Gorilla Wizard cross.
Got it.
And this is the parent of the Makilla Gorilla.
Okay.
So this fruit right here, it's just actually got published in the MycoGeeky not too long ago, last month for Fruit of the Month.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Gandalf.
Yes, that's Gandalf.
Awesome.
Some more Makilla Gorilla.
Nice.
One of my favorite strains to grow, man.
It is a winner.
It never disappoints.
It really does not. Yeah, it's it works. It works in how it grows, and it works in its medicinal properties. I think all across the board, it's a shining star.
For sure.
Cultigen for sure. Also a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
All right, now let's get into maybe a little bit. Is this a newer cross?
Okay, so this is. Can go to the tub view.
Yep, sorry.
Yeah, so.
Did I go too far?
Yeah,
Here
right there.
Okay.
So this was, I did this project through cereal dilution, actually.
Okay.
And it was green cap thrasher that I got from Miss Mush.
Nice.
And cool. Stacks that I got from Dirty South Mycology.
Oh, yeah. Friends of the show for sure. Good guys.
Yeah, man. So I just put those to get together thinking I'd get something cool, and I actually did.
All right. So now tell me, how meticulous were you doing your cereal dilution? Or were you doing it more like Gary Hefferly, where he's got all the 10 tubes and, you know, it's all laying out? Or are you just really just mixing it up in some sterile water, just trying to dilute it out and then...
Well, I got the sterile water and the... what is it? The tween?
Tween, yep.
Yeah, so it's like basically just a 1X. So it's just one other tube. Like I use a vortex to vortex the spores on the swab. and then just dilute it with the 1X, and then I'll transfer that to a plate.
Nice.
Simple.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
I remember seeing an Ed Grand video where he just has some, like, I don't know, like some old cherry jar or something like that that he washed and just had a bunch of sterile water in it. And he just, dropped a swab in there, shook it up. And then what did he use? I think he had like a little glass pipette or something like that. And
Okay.
just like, little drops of water. And yeah, it doesn't have to be that complicated.
No, not really.
So now, so when you're getting your monokaryons, are you actually confirming it in a microscope? Or are you going based off of morphology and whether they clamp, like whether the cultures cross?
So before, when I started this, I didn't have a microscope.
Okay.
I didn't get a microscope till after. So now I'm actually just like verifying each one now.
Nice. Now, I'm not going to lie. So what I'm trying to do is figure out if I can do certain steps to verify a mono without having to look under a microscope. I still will, but I think it would be a cool tech to talk about, maybe not quite as, verifiable as looking under a scope. But so what I started doing was when I say I got 5 or 6 monos that I think I got isolated out on plates, and it's fluffy, it's symmetrical, it looks like a monokaryon. Then what I do is I'll take, say, mono 1 and 2 and from the same cultigen, and I'll see if I put them on a plate and see if they cross.
Okay.
They basically always do.
Right.
But then I know if they do cross, and then it, where that new growth comes out, I can safely say at least one of those was a monokaryon, right? Like at a minimum. So then I'll cross the opposite. So if I did mono 1 and 2 on one plate, mono 3 and 4 on another, then I'll do mono 1 and 3 and mono 2 and 4. And if both those work, then I'm going to assume I got monos. And then now I can cross that with other monos that have confirmed in the same way. So I'm playing around with all that. We'll see how that all works out. I am also separately looking, under the scope now to make sure, but I'm sort of trying to pretend like I don't have a scope and see how it works out. So we'll see. Some just stuff I like to play around with. Okay, so you're crossing. So what is this? This is
So this is stacks crossed with green cat thrasher.
Okay. And so you got mostly a fairly consistent fruit, but you did get one little albino.
Yeah.
All right, there he is.
And these right here is like, they're kind of different than the bigger ones. Because the stipe, it got more like the stacks because they're kind of shiny.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then these are a little more like stacks.
Yeah, those
are these the stacks? Okay, these are.
Yeah. The stacks. So one of those, the one that was on the right, the top right there, okay. That's the one that I crossed, that I used to put a cereal dilution.
All right, cool.
And that was the green cap thrasher that I used.
Right, yep. See, now, so here's where, sure, you can say, well, how do you really know? How do you really know you crossed it? Maybe you didn't, maybe you did. I personally, I'm looking at this fruit, I'm looking at that fruit, and I'm going, okay, looks about right.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and at the end of the day, I don't think people care if I looked under a microscope and meticulously confirmed X, Y, and Z.
Right.
I think they just care what the fruit looks like. They want to see a picture of a fruit, and they want you to say that fruit is the fruit I swabbed, or the fruits from this tub I swabbed, and I'm selling these swabs for that tub. And good luck, hopefully.
Or shit, you just let them know, like, it could be a cross, it might not, it might be a pheno. As long as you're honest, people don't care. If it look cool, they'll just grow it anyway.
Exactly.
And it's the weird albino that was in there.
Yeah, that was cool.
Not sure what was going on with that one.
It wilded out, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it cracked on the the
On the
top
cap.
and the edges of the cap. Like
Right.
it's like a hot cross bun right there. Yeah, that's very cool. All right, so how into the crossing are you? Are you just sort of casually double swabbing? Did you like the serial dilution? Are you going to do some more of that? Are you really getting into the microscope? Where are you at with all that?
So like I swab, do the double swab, like I swab everything I get. I also do like I don't do the serial dilution too much anymore because I find like streaking works a little better. Well, it's faster.
Agree.
Um, so like when I get a fruit, I just take it and just streak it across, like do a Z on an agar plate.
Yep.
Wait like 2 or 3 days and keep an eye on it and just pull the ones I think is a mono. Like I usually pull the one, transfer the ones that's like that's not close to another one.
Right.
And then I just transfer that.
I'm looking for the tiniest. It almost looked like a snowflake landed on the Petri dish.
Exactly.
Just the littlest. And then I try to not even transfer the whole thing. I try to grab the tiniest little bit of that I can get. And yeah, I'm definitely like you said, streaking it. I do a grab. It's called a grab and drag technique. It's very similar to streaking.
Right.
But yeah, and they can come pretty fast.
Yeah,
like
they do. Because if you forget, man, it's a wrap. Like,
yeah, you got yourself some dicarrions now. Too late.
Exactly.
I
got a few plates over there right now that I'm just kind of upset that I forgot about.
I know, I've done it too. All right, so I want to do. You sent me, this is pretty cool. You sent me a little something about a tub tech. Let's pull this up. All right, so walk me through what do we got here?
Okay, so like when I was on Instagram, like just trying to hit up people about different techs and like different ways to do tubs or whatever. A lot of people, I didn't get any like feedback from people. Some people wouldn't even message me back. But I came across this dude called With Supplements on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, man. And he had this tub tech right here. And basically he's like, man, you don't have to like tape your hose until it fully colonized or nothing like that. You could just send it straight to fruit and conditions. And this is the tub design right here. So basically you just drill these holes in there in your tub and send everything to bulk and close the lid and let it do its thing. Low maintenance, like you don't have to fan or mist or anything.
And the taping is a pain in the butt.
So, yeah, man, that was just annoying.
It's no fun. Somebody got me a max yield bin. Shout out to my buddy P-Satch. He had been growing in some max yield bins. I was like, oh, that looks cool. I've never tried one, so he got me one as a gift. Very, very nice of him. And it's nice. I grew some cool fruit, but boy, it's kind of just annoying to have to tape, because they have those little 1/4-inch holes all around the cake surface.
Okay.
So you got to tape that up, and yeah, it's just like too much taping. So
just too much work, man.
I've never run this, but I have seen people who run it where they do a lot of little holes and they don't tape anything. And yeah,
a lot of people be worried thinking you'll get contamination, but from what I found out is that like you really just gonna get contamination if your grains are dirty. The tape, when they use tape, is not really to keep contamination out. It's like to keep the moisture in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So these holes is like, it's not as big to where it's like you got to worry about the cake drying out too much.
Yeah, I mean, so some of my tubs are 1 inch or 1.5 inch holes. And a 1/4-inch hole, you can get a lot of 1/4-inch holes in an 1.5 inch diameter. So if I got a tub that's got 8 1-inch holes, I mean, I'd have to do the math, but that's a lot of 1/4-inch holes.
Yeah.
So you're actually, even though you don't have tape over it, you're getting a more even air exchange and without having to have, a big hole anywhere. So
right.
It makes sense. And I know you're not the only person I've heard say that this works. I just, it's on my list of
So it
techs to
seems like
try.
it helps like give you that even evaporation on the
Yep.
substrate,
Yep.
and I think that's what helps give you those better pen sets.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Anytime, the classic one you see is the tub where the middle doesn't have any fruit. And a lot of times that's because the condensation forms in the middle, it drops down, and it's not evaporating from the middle. It's
Mm-hmm.
evaporating along the edges better because that's where the air exchange is happening more. So
Right.
yeah, that's cool to hear that you feel like you're getting more even air exchange by using this tech. I'm definitely gonna have to give it a try.
It helps too to like keep a fan, to run a little small fan like every so often just to move the air around.
Oh yeah.
And I use a cool mist as well. I'll
What's
run
that?
that every so often to keep the outside, the ambient humidity right,
Oh,
so it don't
okay.
get too dry.
All right. So you do humidify your room a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So let's take a look at some tubs. Standing room only.
This was my first full tub right here.
Nice, nice. Now,
Um,
so yeah, this old tech. This is kind of what my tubs look like.
right. Okay.
The
Yeah.
the old micro post filters and larger holes.
Right.
I mean,
I don't think
that's
there was any space for any more, and that's
no. You know what? Those photographs so well, but boy, they're a little tricky to get going.
yeah, man. It's a pain to harvest for sure.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we got some
Those are
Thrasher.
some lucid gates with the
Oh,
tub
lucid
with
gates.
that
Oh,
tub
cool.
pack.
Nice. Yeah, man, that gate stuff is great. That's a little looks like just crazy looking banging tub.
Yeah. These are some. Oh, that's TWA.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Again, with that tub tech.
Oh yeah. Okay. So here's a good picture where I can see the holes.
Yeah.
Nice, and I see that you got that drip all down the side of the walls in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very
Keeping
cool.
that good moisture in there. Same with this one. I seem like I get more full canopies with this tub design.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to give this a try. I'm primarily bags, but I still, just because I like messing around with different tub techs, or I like
Mm-hmm.
every once in a while seeing how something runs in a tub versus bag. Like I just ran Toke F7 and F8 in bags, and I've started to see the grows for people that are running them in tubs, and it seems like they're a little more consistent. I think my toke struggled a little bit I mean, it still had some cool fruit, but it was kind of all over the place. Whereas it seemed like the more even looking fruit from the tub grows. So that'll
Right.
be my next go. See how they do in tubs. But yeah, I mean that's a packed house right there.
Yeah, man. That was a pretty dope tub.
That is nice. All right, so so let's talk about how so at what point did you go from growing for yourself to going, man, we gotta, people need this medicine, people want that. I know you got the call from the shaman in the shower curtain, but like at what point did you really go, okay, I can do this now. I got this figured out. I can start spreading the spores.
Um, I would say probably was like after my first full flush. Then I was getting them consistent, and I was like, okay,
Right.
I feel like I know what I'm doing now.
But like how many months in are we? I'm trying to
Okay, that was probably that was probably a good 8 months, maybe
all right, that's fair.
8 to 9 months, something like that. Like I
That
don't know, man. Like when I'm into something, like I give them my all, and I
yep.
just like I dream about being in the lab. That's how bad it is.
I hear you, dude. It's my wife's like, "Do you ever think about anything else?" And I'm just like, "No, I don't." It's like those little memes about, the husband and wife are in bed and the wife is like, "I bet he's thinking about another woman." And
Yeah.
then it's like, whatever. And I'm like, man, the stuff that I am occupying my mind with, like, honey, you got nothing to worry about.
Right, right, right.
Obsessed.
But
But
yeah,
it gets
once
that
once
way.
I
It's a
started getting my sterile technique down and everything, that's like when I just start getting serious about the genetics and doing the crosses and
yeah,
sharing them and giving them out and all that, selling genetics and stuff.
yeah. I mean, people need it. There's not some people get real gatekeepy and don't want to get it out there, or they want to like toil endlessly in the night. And man, it's just too much work, like,
Yeah.
you gotta find the people you get along with to be like, hey man, send me this, I'll send you this, let's try to cross it, let's see what we can do. Hey, if you need help growing this thing out you're working on, like, if you're doing all the work by yourself, it's a long process.
Yeah. So me and this guy, JD on Instagram, we actually been like just swabbing back and forth different monos and crosses we do. Like we just sharing love, man. I feel like that's the best thing to do. So actually with this Gorilla Wizard, man, I want to do a giveaway with these. I have some
Nice.
F2 Sport swabs. I have about 15 left. I have more, but they got mixed up into another pile that I didn't label. So I want to
Now
do a
you got
giveaway
'em.
with those F2 spores and just give them out.
Yeah,
I'll
dude,
set up
it's
I'll set up a code. You just type in geeky and then
cool, man.
I
And
can
then when
just go
you're
on
out,
there.
you're out. First come, first serve.
First come, first serve.
First come, first serve. Cool. Now you got a great looking website. Very impressive. I love the message. I love the vibe. Um, let's talk a little bit about so that first trip you had. That kind of inspired your persona, your message, your website. Talk to me a little bit about that shaman role.
Okay, so like I always felt like I was a healer or whatever. Like
Okay.
I'm into like the natural remedies and like I eat healthy. I'm a vegan. I've been vegan for like 6 years, 5 going on 6 years now.
Man, the butter.
Um,
How you avoid the butter? I've tried it 2 different times, and the butter's what gets me every time, dude.
but see, they do have like vegan butter.
I know, but it's not butter. I can't. It's what
But I
ultimately.
still try to stay away from all the processed stuff as
Oh
much as
yeah,
possible.
yeah, yeah. It's
Um,
we just went on a trip and to Italy, and we thought we've been waiting to go on this trip for a long time. Finally did it, um, and we just ate everything: pasta, cheese, bread, and we all lost weight.
yeah,
We're like, how do we lose weight? Oh, because we're not eating phosphates and nitrates and all
yeah.
this chemical. It's just all real food there.
Mhm. And then when you're eating a bunch of meat, like it just sits in your colon or
Oh
whatever,
man,
like you don't even digest fully. So
yeah.
you
It's
just be bloated, really.
I can't even tolerate. I was just talking to Jeff Karras about this. We went mushroom hunting, and I was like, yeah, man. Lately, I'm noticing I really can't eat red meat anymore. If I do, man, it does not sit in my stomach well anymore. My body is just telling me, okay, ease up. So many days I don't even eat meat. I still do, but yeah, it's not a necessity like it used to be. I used to just, man, be such a carnivore about it, but
Right.
yeah, just
So yeah, man,
can't.
I just really want to like push that
Yep,
on as many people as I can. Like, man, we gotta eat better. We gotta take better care of our vessels, you know. So
100%.
that's what inspired the Afrolistic Wellness website.
That's
Um,
awesome.
like we working on more products up to put up there, tinctures, and we're gonna have more herbs and stuff on there as well.
That's awesome, dude. I yeah, we need that. You know, McDonald's got to go.
Oh
I'm
yeah, for
like,
sure,
how
man. I don't
long
see
is
how they still in business after
I
that.
don't either. I remember what a few years ago when they like tried to do their salads, and I'm like, nobody wants to eat a salad from McDonald's. Just y'all
Nah.
need to give up, man. If I tell you what, if they didn't have that playground, they probably would be out of business by now. They just got
Yeah,
them little kid playgrounds, and
right. That's
yeah,
just crazy, man. But yeah, I haven't eaten before I even went vegan. I stopped eating like fast food, like McDonald's and Burger
yeah,
King, all that stuff. I had been cut that out.
that's great. Hopefully one day. I mean, working in the ER, I can tell you right now, a lot of people not eating right.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
people be like, man, it's so expensive to eat vegan and eat healthy. It is, but your hospital bill would be a whole lot more expensive than that.
yeah, exactly. They're like it's so expensive to buy a cucumber when you could buy a can of Coke, and I'm just like, no, I think those are the same price, man. Those are the same price.
Right.
It's not. I don't even buy that it's that much more expensive. It's a low. I mean, if you like to hit up Whole Foods, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's gonna cost you. But
for
you know, you can
sure.
go to a regular grocery store and still just eat food that goes bad. If you're eating food that goes bad, then it's all natural. You're it's gonna it'll be all right.
Right,
So
right.
that's cool that you do that, because that's kind of a broader picture, a broader message, you know, general wellness, which kind of fits in with the shaman persona for sure. Now, how'd
Oh
you
yeah,
get?
so I wanted to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah,
So
do.
like I said, I always felt like I was a healer. Like people come to me and like ask me for like advice and stuff or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like I'm not a shaman yet, but it's something like I'm inspiring. Like I'm taking on that
Nice.
path, you know. So it's like I really take that serious. I feel like a lot of people jump into that and just start calling themselves, giving themselves these titles without
Oh yeah.
going through the necessary training that it takes to actually perfect that.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to be one of those people. I want to get myself under the right mentors and all of that. You know?
Right. Now, so I will say this though, some people do have a knack for it, right? So I know people that, you know, they got all the degrees in the world, um, and I work with doctors that have a not great bedside manner, right? And you can't teach it.
Right.
And so it's they always struggle. They have issues with patients not wanting to do the things they want them to do, and then I got to come in and, you know, build the rapport and butter up the patient a little bit, try to get them to understand why they need to do that. So, you know, I think this day and age, I think it's cool if people want to be a shaman. If you want to be a healer, I think that's great. I know for a fact the world's got a lot of healing and needs to do, so
Yeah.
we're gonna need a lot of healers.
For sure, man. I feel like this medicine is gonna really help a lot of people. It's definitely gonna help. It's helped me. It helped change my life. Like
Oh my God, I
seriously,
know.
man. Um, I don't take like trips so like a lot
Yeah,
because it's like for me, like it really just kicked my butt. So it's like, man, um, I take it like every blue moon, like maybe twice a month, sometimes maybe
yeah,
longer than that. But the healing that comes, like people think you take mushrooms and then it's just gonna instantly just heal you. But no, man, it's like you got to put in that work afterwards. That's when the
you
real work
do.
starts.
Yes, I was just talking to somebody about this. They were talking about out in where was this? I can't. One of the states that just maybe it was Colorado or Washington or Oregon. I can't remember where. But anyway, uh, they were talking about these centers that are charging $3,800 to, you know, have your trip. And I was like, okay, so but what does that include? Oh well, that's a 6 to 8 hour trip, and then that's a session before and a session afterwards. And I said, you want to know the value is going to be in that hour integration session afterwards.
Hmm.
Anybody can have a trip, but
Right.
I can tell you if I was setting up one of these places, I the guy or gal running that integration session after, is where the magic is going to happen.
Yeah.
100%. Talking through the trip, talking through the feelings about it, figuring out what that trip was trying to tell you. Because sometimes it ain't a shaman in your shower curtain, you know, giving you explicit instructions. Sometimes it's, you got to figure it out. You got to decipher it. So, yeah. And the great thing is there's going to be the fancy pants people at these centers, you know, they're going to be actual psychiatrists. There's going to be psychologists. But then also at our level, there's going to be, you know, your neighborhood healer. There's going to be, that stuff's going to happen in way more informal settings, way more organic settings. And
way more cheaper than what you pay.
Way cheaper. Yes.
Exactly. And another thing, like my healing, like my therapy is really in the cultivation. Like,
I'm with you.
It helps me so much, man. It's like really like a meditation for me when I get in the lab.
Couldn't agree more. I got quite a few buddies in the Discord I talk to about this regularly, where I'm like, man, at this point, if I never used the medicine again, I would still be getting therapeutic benefit from the cultivation. Like maybe I'm obsessed, but I'm obsessed for a reason. It's a zone activity. It teaches me things. It grounds me. It keeps me centered. All these things that can come from that. Now, I don't think everybody maybe feels the call to cultivate like we do, but man, for me, I agree 100%.
For sure, man. And the biggest thing, like I didn't have no patience at first. Like my patience was like real short.
I hear you.
Now it's like I have a little bit more patience now, man.
Yep. Yeah, you get to that point where you just trust the process and you really, it's like letting go a little bit, and you're like, I know you're going to come along here, you know, in the beginning, oh my God, you know, if I just look at it, maybe it'll hurry up and grow. No, buddy,
right?
It's not going to do
Peeking
that.
in on the tub, man, you letting out all the moisture and humidity every time you open
every time. Yep.
Throwing it off.
Peeking at it 100 times a day, buddy. Your moisture is gone now. What are you doing?
Right.
It really is true. Cool, man. So you got any projects coming up?
Right now I'll be working on the stacks and green cap dasher cross. Like I'm working on that. I'm still working out the gorilla wizard as well.
Nice.
I don't know, man. I just have a bunch of plates and a bunch of swabs that I need to. I'm trying to actually cut back because, like, I'm like a genetic hoarder, and I got like so many genetics going right now. It's like starting to get overwhelming. So I'm trying to like cut back.
Yeah.
And the amount of plates and agar I go through is crazy, man. Like,
yeah. I used to only run 100 at a time. I only used to pour 100 plates at a time. And then I was pouring plates too much. So then I started doing 200 at a time. Usually that's good. If I see, you know, if I know I got some stuff coming up, or if I got something coming in, then I'll run more. But yeah, I'm still pouring plates pretty often, even with 200 plates.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take long.
And every harvest, it seems like I'm starting a new project. So it's like
it really is. But it never. So the agar work, I could just never stop doing. I love being in front of the hood. I love the agar work. The problem then is you get a point where you're like, I do not have enough time in my life to grow out all this stuff. So what am I going to do with it now? Now I'm just got to sit on it. So then I just give it away to people or, you know, send it to a buddy or something like that. But that's why what you're doing. So, you know, we'll get it all set up in the description for giving away some of those F2 swabs.
Yeah,
but I love this idea.
Like, I'm one of those people, like, every time, like, somebody buys something about genetics, like, I throw in, like, sometimes I might just throw in 4 or 5 swabs, like, here, just take it. I got so much, like, I can't grow all this stuff myself, so I'll just, like, give it back to the community, like, because I gained so much from this community, so it's, like, I love giving back. And,
I'm with you, dude. I
so,
love that.
actually, I'm doing another giveaway too with the homie Rhizomorph.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do a pressure cooker giveaway, a 23-quart Presto.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So we're gonna do that tomorrow.
Very cool. Man, I talked to Rhizomorph the other day. I was like, hey, man, so when are you coming on the podcast? And he goes, nobody wants to hear me talk about anything. And I'm like, man, get out of here with that mess.
He got so much knowledge and wisdom
yeah,
when it comes to this, man. Like, I learned a lot of stuff from him as well. Like, that's a real cool dude right there.
He really is. And he's got I always tell him, I say, dude, you got the coolest Instagram logo in the business.
Yeah.
I love that logo. Is so cool.
It is, for sure, man. I had to throw the slap on my flow hood.
I'm with you. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, we'll do the giveaway. I think that's great. I think we should be doing more of that. More like just, hey, I did a cross. I made 20 or 30 swabs. I'm gonna just get it out to people, right? Let people work that stuff with you. If they get something cool, they're gonna give it back to you.
Right,
you don't gotta worry about it. You gotta be afraid.
Especially when they come to the crosses, man. Also, like, man, I don't know. I just feel like we just gotta spread the knowledge more. Like, a lot of people are interested in learning it. Like, why you want to hold that back from them? Like it's not gonna stop you from doing what you're doing.
It's not. I know. Well, I mean, I'm on a mission for that. I can tell you that. I'm at a point now where we've had enough episodes. As long as you're paying attention, should be nothing holding anybody back from trying to do some crossing projects for sure. Now, the microscope is still a challenge. I'm definitely getting a lot better at it, feeling pretty comfortable. But there's a learning curve on it. You got to spend time. You got to have your eye in that eyepiece for a while. It does take a minute.
I just found a adapter for your phone.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, those are cool.
On
like
Amazon.
$25-$30. Yep.
Yeah, because like my eyes couldn't take it.
I know.
Because sometimes it's taking you forever to find what you're looking for. So I'll just look on the screen, make it a lot easier.
You got to take a lot of breaks.
Yeah. And another thing that I found, like using under the scope, like for me, like using the slip, the slip slide, like I can't work it like that for some reason. It don't work for me.
Oh yeah, a lot of people don't use the cover slip. You know what I use? I use a cover slip a lot more if I'm just grabbing a fragment of gill to confirm that there's spores before I swab something. Like if I'm not sure about it, I'll use the cover slip for that. But yeah, I'm inclined to try to get just a raw mount.
That's what I do.
Gets a little close at my 40x, right, for the 400 view. Gets real close. I definitely got to slice that real thin to get in there and see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
it works a lot better that way for me.
Yep. The only thing I do prefer the cover slip for is the cover slip is then squishing everything into one field of view. Whereas I find, like, especially if I'm looking for clamps, I will say on monos, I do use a smash mount.
Okay.
Because if I don't, I got to just, use that fine focus knob and move through so much mycelium. And I'm like, it's a little harder for me to do that. But
right.
There's a lot of ways to do it. There's a lot of YouTube videos. You got to just hunt around a little bit more. And we got a channel in my Discord. I got a handful of guys that are really good with a microscope, so they're always helping people out.
Yeah, that's why I found out the best microscope to get in your Discord. I was searching around in there, and I won't say the best one to get, but the best one on the budget. I'll say, like, the AM scope. That's the one. I mean,
really, that's a great scope. I have. This is, where is it here? That's a Nikon Eclipse. But I have an AM scope as well, and I had to get the other one because I was trying to get a camera for this Nikon, and I got a really good deal on that one, but I needed a trinocular head, and the cheapest trinocular head I can get is $1,500.
Oh wow!
Man, I ain't paying $1,500 for a head of a microscope I only paid $300 for.
Right.
So I was like, I guess I'm just going to buy an amp scope, and now that one's got a camera. So hopefully in the future here, we can do a little content on microscopy. But yeah, you just got to get your hands dirty and just start playing with it. And, the longer you do it, the better you get at it. It's just like with growing.
Yeah. So my plan is like I'm starting a YouTube channel.
Oh, awesome,
So
dude.
what I want to do is like take people through all the steps, like from like with the cross projects, like how you swab, get the monos, verify it under the microscope. Since I got the camera, I can record all of that. So I'm gonna put all of that together some kind of way, put it out there.
Do it. I tell everybody, do it. We need more content creators. I mean, everything, any content people are making, they're chewing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
People love, you already know, we can't get enough. We can't stop talking about it. We can't stop thinking about it. You never know. If you explain something, you might explain it in a way that's what someone needed to hear for it to make sense. Yeah, man, I'm all about it. I can't wait to see that. When you launch that, let me know. We'll have you back on. We'll talk about it some more.
Okay, cool, man.
Yep, I think that's great. All right, dude. Well, thanks for being on.
Thank you
Exciting
for bringing
stuff.
me
Loving the fruit. I'm definitely gonna have to try this tub tech out. You've convinced me. And we'll do that giveaway. So all that info will be in the description, guys. First come, first serve. So whoever the lucky people are, early bird gets the worm. That's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the links to his website and his Instagram in the description. So yeah, check it out. Make the connection. See what the Khaotic Shaman's all about.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate this, man.
Yeah, this was fun. And we'll do it again. We're gonna do it some more.
Okay, for sure. I'm down.
We'll get you back because now I got to hold you accountable for that YouTube channel.
Yeah, man. I'm getting it. I'm getting it started. I already got the logo, the cool little logo.
Awesome. So. Nice, dude. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for being on, and we'll see you again soon.
All right, thank you, man. Peace out, Micro fam.
All right, guys. All right. So that's the episode for tonight. We got to sit down with the Khaotic Shaman. Man, he never told me the story about the shaman in the shower curtain. I love that, man. I feel like you're going to have to go on to one of them AI generators and create, the shaman in the shower curtain and get a t-shirt for that. And that, man, his logo, the shaman logo he's got is fire. We're going to have to, you guys got to go message him and be like, when's that t-shirt coming out? We need that t-shirt. I will definitely rock it. Anyway, guys, so thank you very much. Next week, another great guest. Stay tuned. Until then, we're going to go out like this.